Hello viewers, in this video I'm going to show you how to put your front wheel back onto your motorcycle. So let's get started. First thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some high temperature grease and put a little bit of it under my speedometer socket. One reason is for lubrication, and secondly it also will help hold the socket in place while I'm putting the wheel in. Same thing, I'm going to put a little bit of grease on the speedometer socket as well. You don't need too much, just a little bit, because you don't want too much grease to come out of the socket, and then that's only going to attract dirt. That's not good. Do the same thing on the other side where the spacer goes. Just a little bit of grease on the wheel and just a tiny bit on the spacer itself. Like I said, it's going to help hold these two together while I'm putting the wheel in. So that's the important thing, because it's going to be really annoying if they keep coming off. You're going to wipe off your axle and use some sort of lubricant like WD-40, spray a little bit on the axle. That's going to make it easier to put back in the axle holes. You're going to take your wheel, align it with your forks. Just try to keep the wheel as straight as possible. And what you're going to do is, here I'm adjusting the speedometer socket. You may or may not have that. Just shove the axle back in there, align the wheel on the other side, and you might have to wiggle it a little bit, push it in. There you go. Once that's in, you take your axle bolt, start tightening it from the other side. I'm just going to hand tighten it right now and then move on to the next step. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tighten the axle lock nuts on one side. That's going to be the opposite side of where the bolt is located, so that the axle holds in place. Put my speedometer cable back in there and use my Phillips head screwdriver to tighten the cable in place. It's important to not over tighten this cable, because it's easy to strip them sometimes. But it has to be tightened up so that it doesn't come out. So now the lock nuts on the other side are tightened up, so I'm going to go ahead and use my 4-way and start tightening the axle bolt from the other side. If your bike starts to move, what you see right here, I'm going to go ahead and take it off of my stand, and then go ahead and retighten the axle bolt once the bike is flush on the ground. That makes the bike a little more stable. So you go ahead and tighten the axle bolt as tight as you can. You can use a torque wrench if you want, and use the torque settings from your manual. You can also find them online. Same thing, tighten up your lock nuts on one side, retighten the lock nuts on the other side. It's always good to double and triple check these. Next, I'm going to put my brake caliper back in, cut off the string, and it's also easier to put the brake caliper in if you push the calipers a little back. It doesn't have to be too much, just a tiny little bit. Push them back, and then wiggle the caliper back in place. Put your bolts in, and now all that is left is we got to go ahead and tighten up the 12mm brake caliper bolts, and you're almost done. I'm going to go ahead and double check one more time my lock nuts, and that's pretty much it. Putting your wheel back onto your motorcycle. It's a simple job, and you're going to save a lot of money if you do it yourself. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and watch my other videos. Thanks.